Okay.
This is after half an hour of playing with the camera. And now it's wonky still. Oh, I just got the shakes. I did a wobble on the table. There you go. That's less wonky. I think your heads are supposed to be in the top third of the... Your nose should be the top third of the frame, I think. I don't know. Anyway, we're shooting things now.
Oh, I can't even see. My eyes are funny.
Should do a sound synchronization and clap.
This is your video.
Okay.
So we're here today to do Kevin's Q&A. Well, you guys seem to like him in the last video.
Don't know why. But anyway.
What are you doing?
Nothing. Not making any noise. I'm here.
Oh my goodness.
I got bored.
Oh my god, let's start these questions. So sorry about the delay in doing this video. It's just, yeah, been crazy around here. Anyway, okay. First question. I don't know the order now, but anyway, might be out of order from what they came in, but we'll just go with that. Okay, the first question is from Vim1717. It says, do you have brothers, sisters? Are your parents still alive?
This could be a long answer, but I won't go into everything. Yes, I have one sister. I saw her, I don't know, a few years ago, I think, when we were doing my father's estate. There's a hint that he's not around there anymore. And I haven't really seen her since. My hair's sticking up.
Yes.
There's, yes, what did I say? I have one sister. I've got one brother as well. So I'm the youngest. So there's no photos of me growing up, because you only take photos of the oldest two, especially back then. And then by the third kid, you go like, yeah, whatever. There was going to be a fourth one, and my father said to my mother, you're not having a kid or I'm leaving you. So she went and had an abortion, and then he left her anyway, which was funny. Yeah, I think he thought that was funny. All right, that's that question. I could go into depth about
Are your parents still alive?
No, both of them aren't alive anymore. My mother suicided in, I don't know, she was 49, so I'm 52 now, so I've beaten her.
Yeah, we were at uni at the time.
Yeah, we were at uni. And my father died probably 5 years ago now. He had kidney problems, which my sister and I both do as well. And he ended up getting a kidney transplant. And because when you get a transplant, you end up, I'm looking at the wrong thing, you end up going on
a little dot.
a immunosuppressant thing, which then gives you cancer because your body doesn't fight things very well. And he got non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and then bowel cancer, and then lung cancer, and he turned into a walking cancer, and then stopped walking, and then died.
You can tell there's a lot of love in this family.
Yes, well, it's... Yeah.
No, you haven't been close to your weird mum, obviously, hasn't been around for a long time, but you've been close to your dad for a...
checked on my brother a few times.
You're close to your brother.
He was in America when my father died, and no one had told him, so I just sent him a message saying, you're an orphan. So he got the message.
Okay, next question. This is from, well,
SWA.
Yep. I was looking to see if the name of who it's from. Yeah. First impressions of Libby.
I don't remember. We met at a church youth group. I think you fell out a window, or I fell out a window. You fell out a window. I don't remember that, but you remembered that.
It sounds a bit odd. I was sitting on the side of a mini bus, like the youth group
sitting
church
out the window.
bus. I was sitting in the window, and then I fell out the window.
Yes, which was a bit silly.
I don't think I hurt myself. Well,
I was a bit special. My stutter was a lot worse. People didn't understand.
That's what I remember about Kevin. I couldn't understand what he was saying.
I was pretty nerdy. I'd been into computers for some time.
Still nerdy.
And things like that. So yeah, I don't remember. When I was in third class, I think my first girlfriend was Miriam, and she was a ginger too. And that was so I think I just continued the trend. But I've only ever had one proper girlfriend, and I'm such an amazing kisser that she got her hooks in and won't let go. So we're 30-something years later, and I can't get away.
You guys asked for this.
Yes, well, there you go. That's how good I am, because I've kissed pretty much one chick in my life, and she won't let go.
Okay, this is a good one for you, Kevin. Tip to raising kids.
Tip to raising kids. Well, you could ask my children, and pretty much anything I did, don't do. So I'm not a good parent.
That's not true. I don't think that's true.
I think you were the good parent. I was the pragmatic parent. For example, let's have a good example of raising kids. Imagine kids run in room crying because they didn't get their way. I would sit there and look at them and say, okay, no, that didn't work. You still don't have your way. Maybe you need to cry a bit louder. Maybe you need to cry softer. Let's do some tests and see if we can work out what crying gets you what you want. And then they looked at me because they clearly weren't getting sympathy, and they would generally go to you at that point. So, because crying didn't fix it. So I was more of a pragmatist, more of a science side of things. So if they want things fixed, you have to work things out. I remember going to the science centre once, and I was sitting in the back of the car, and they were arguing about what music was going to play. And I said, all right, what you need to do is yell what music you want as loud as you can continuously. Whoever gives up first loses. Which I thought was a fun game for the first probably 10, 15 minutes. After about 25 minutes, it got a bit annoying. But then we got to the science centre and no one had any music, so it worked out well. They were tired. Yeah, so I'm not the parenting
Not the one to ask
type.
for tips, probably.
No. I remember, I said I was more, I don't know.
Well, you can probably
Try to
gather from
teach my
the
kids
question
interesting things.
above, he didn't perhaps have the best
I'm better
parenting,
I'm better than my father.
especially from his dad.
Yes, I'm better than my father, which is a good step in the right direction. And I think Fee will be a good parent. Fee's turned out very nice. Christy's just finished uni, so she's getting over a stress period, and she'll go and she's set herself up for a nice life, I hope, so that should be good.
Okay, this is from Hayden Marino. It's not actually from, I don't think it's from Hayden. I think that's the email that's been used. Kevin, were you always into technology even as a kid, or did you decide to go to school to learn?
I was in technology for some time. Before the internet was really around, I started playing with the internet in '89 when I went to university. But before that, the internet wasn't really available to anyone.
This technology, were you into
Technology, yes. I know, I'm getting there.
Sorry.
So before that, I ran bulletin board systems. So I always had multiple phone lines in my house. Ran bulletin boards back in the days of 1275 board, which was very exciting. I can remember my $2,500 modem got broken, so I sent it off to Netcom, and it came back and supported 2400 because they put the wrong firmware on it, and it was the same box. So I suddenly had stuff twice as fast. So that was very exciting. So yeah, I ran bulletin boards, ran one called Alpha Juno BBS in Sydney, and then one in Wollongong. When we moved in '89, I moved the bulletin board, and it was just called A Southern Rendezvous, I think. But yeah, the first one, Alpha Juno, I was in magazines and things about bulletin boards in the Australian Personal Computer magazine, and I would have been, I don't know, 13, 14 at the time. So yeah, I've always been doing stuff.
I remember you had that little computer that...
Yeah, I had. Yeah, even before we moved from Milpera, I had a TRS-80 PC2, which was quite exciting. I actually found one on eBay in brand new condition, so I bought it. It's got the printer and everything, but I don't even know how to program it anymore. It's all in BASIC. And that was the machine. I can remember having to sort on that machine, and I worked out how to do a bubble sort by myself. So that was quite exciting. I thought it was quite good, but bubble sorts are the worst kind of sorts you can do. There's lots of, if you care about sorts, I could talk about sorts, but I won't. But I did a bubble sort. That was quite exciting. So
yeah, his dad was an electrician too, so I guess that's sort of perhaps where the interest in technology sort of came along as well.
Yeah, so when my English marks at school were terrible, I was in Space Cadet English, and I didn't read any of the books or do any of the work, so they threatened to fail me. And then when I went to uni, I got everything except my English marks, so I didn't get enough to get into computer science. So I went down there and had a meeting with the head professor, and he said, yes, all right, you're allowed in. And then a week later, I got an offer anyway, so that was quite nice. So I went down there and did computer science, which was fun.
Yeah, so that was it wasn't, when we enrolled, it was a maths degree, but then they changed it to a computer science degree, didn't they?
It was 762 maths degree, and then in our third year, they changed it to a 763. They only just invented a 763, which was a computer science degree.
So you're the first one with a computer science degree from the uni?
Yeah, we're in the first batch, so that was quite
the first one to get a major in marketing from the uni.
And then they asked at the end, because you just get all the credits, and they asked you what degree you want, because I could meet multiples. They said, do you want maths? I said, no, I want computer science. So
how did you get maths when you didn't even pass first year maths?
I don't know, because it was all computer science.
It was under, wasn't it? Yeah.
So originally I was going for a maths degree, which was funny, because I'm not very good at maths. I've used the cosine rule in the real world. I use like Pythagoras and stuff all
Well, I
the
think
time.
we both enrolled in
Yeah.
a maths degree with a major in computing science. I enrolled in the same thing.
Yeah. You
Crazy.
You did first year comp sci, and when I was
I did what I wanted to do even at uni.
if you didn't know computers at uni, they started you off in comp sci 100, which was like space cadet computers, and we used to. And when I was in, so we didn't do that because I knew enough about computers to start with. So we did 101, 102. By the time we were in second year,
This is the royal we talking about, not
okay.
me. Not me anymore.
By the time I was in second year, I knew the lecturer quite well, and he asked me to teach the comp sci 100 over summer. So I did that, and that was good.
Okay. Next question. My name is Annette. Says, how do you think your dog will adjust to apartment living? What floor is your new place on?
We're on the 3rd floor. We don't even have to be secret about where we're here. We've tried to be secret, but it's not a secret anymore because we're moving. So we're in Canhooker, and the new place is Shell Cove. We're in the end apartment, which we've shown videos of already. We're on 3rd floor. So there's 3 buildings. These 2 are like they got 3 stories. You've got ground 1 and 2, plus a basement, and then this one is taller. This is where we're staying.
The video I'm just editing at the moment, so a few videos before this one actually shows the apartments.
So the building we've got in the building A is 1 floor higher, and we're on the top floor. So we should be able to see over the top of the other buildings. We'll get a nice view of the harbour, and yeah, it should be nice. So the dogs, I think the dogs will cope fine. The dogs are pretty, every time we've gone away to Airbnbs and things, they've been really good. I think they'll be fine. I'm more worried about how we will cope because here is amazingly private. It's quiet all the time. We just don't hear neighbours or anything like that. But in the new place, it's supposed to be a 7-star something that you can't hear other things, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully it's quiet. But we're on the top floor, so there's no one on top of us. And if anyone's noisy, we can just stamp around with horseshoes on and shut them up. So that sounds quite exciting.
Okay, Blue Bonnet says, is it going to be hard moving?
No.
I assume they mean leaving this house?
This house is a nice house. There's nothing wrong with this house. It's 20 years old and it's got normal maintenance things, but this house was a great house.
We're not very sentimental though. Neither of us are sentimental.
But we've had the kids. The kids grew up here. We've had nice puppies here. We've had parties here. We've had lots of nice Christmas Eves and Christmases here. But it's time to move. I'll miss the spa. Not that we ever use the spa. We use it very rarely, but I'll still miss it. I like having it there. But we've got a bath in the new place, which should be nice. There is a bath here, but it's Christie's and we're not allowed in there.
We are, but you've got to make sure she's not in there.
You have to adjust the shared calendar to make sure she knows you're in there.
Okay, Em says, do you have plans to make the new place smart?
Yes.
What plans do you have already? The lights coming on in the room you walk into, or whatever fancy things you seem to do.
Yeah, I think we'll do that. I don't know if we'll do it straight away. I think the first thing we've got to do is the blinds. So we have to automate the blinds. When we got the building, when you buy the building off the plan, they give you a price. Are we allowed to talk about how much it was? No. Anyway, it was lots, and then they give you these list of extras. Do you want fancy kitchen lights? Do you want heated towel rails? Do you want heated bathroom floor? And all these things were on this list, and we said yes to a bunch of them. And then they said, do you want automated blinds? And it was $17,500 for automated blinds, which is absolutely insane. The automated blinds we have upstairs here that I put in, I bought the motors off AliExpress, wired them myself. The motors are $50 per blind. So I can't imagine spending more than $500 for the entire new place to wire it in.
I guess it's something a lot of putters couldn't do though, whereas you can do it.
It was just an insane price. Yeah. Then they offered us a way. Originally, you didn't have a way to charge electric cars, and I complained about it. And then about 6 months ago, they sent us a letter saying, just fill in this and you can get an electric car charger, $5,500, when I can buy a charger for myself for $900 and probably install it for another $1,000 on top of that. So anyway, we'll have a place to charge the car.
Yeah, you had to really go through them so they run the power to it, don't you?
So it has to go through all the common meters and stuff. So anyway, so yes, the place will be smart. We've got in here, we use passive infrared sensors. Don't know if anyone knows what that is, but it's a camera that picks up heat and movement through a little like a little Fresnel lens, and it then knows you're in the room. So you walk in the kitchen, the lights come on. So in the new place, I'll probably put occupancy sensors, which are millimetre wave people sensors, and they can track multiple people within a room. And as soon as you leave a room, the lights can go off because it knows you've left the room. So we'll probably do some of that, but some of it might have to wait. I think when we first move in, we'll be using light switches like I don't know, like animals.
Like most people do.
Yeah, but we haven't had to switch a light switch for some time.
That will be funny.
But we'll do that and just wait and see. I've bought lots of different units already. I've got temperature sensors and other Acora hubs and so on, which I'm playing with, but I haven't decided yet. So, but it will be done. The first thing will be the blinds, I think.
Yeah.
And maybe some LED lighting around the roof or something. Because I've been playing with the you're gonna edit this. There's a really cool chip called a WS2812B, which is a little tiny LED driver chip. So you said you wouldn't edit this, so I'm allowed to rant.
It's your video.
And it's really cool because when you send a signal to it, it's got a big chain of data coming in. It eats the bit for it and then sends the rest on. So that's the way you can do all of these individually addressable lights. Like you have a LED string and you have a different color and a different pattern and different everything on every single light. So that's quite cool. And it's a nice protocol to play with. So I've been playing with that. So we're going to be able to have really cool lighting effects. And Lib said, as soon as the house knows that she's home, because it knows that it'll know who's home based on where your phones are, it'll stop the lights doing anything fancy, and I'll have to just be boring. But that'll be fun.
Sasha says, would you recommend solar panels?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks for that.
Solar panels are awesome. So the current price of solar panels is way down, and they just keep getting cheaper. Power keeps getting more expensive. The last time I did the maths, solar panels pay for themselves in under 3 years. So it's crazy amount of power for free. So basically you pay them off in 3 years and then you're making money. House batteries, we have two 14.5, I think, kilowatt hour, maybe 13.5 kilowatt hour batteries here. So let's say it's 30 kilowatt hours. That cost us a lot. I think it was like $25,000 for these batteries, which is insane. And they will never ever pay for themselves unless power triples in price. So solar panels really, really good. House batteries not so good. Eventually they'll get better, but they won't pay for themselves at the moment. They're fun to play with, but they're too expensive and won't pay for themselves.
Okay, and they also want to know what you're most looking forward to about the move.
I don't know. You started with this vision of fantasy us, and I've bought things in the past.
Oh,
like
I explained to you what
once.
fantasy you was. Is that
Yes.
what you mean? I explained the concept to you.
So you keep having visions of yourself doing things, and I bought a little kayak, used it once, didn't use it again. I bought lots of, I've been through quite a few hobbies. You made me give away my telescope to Fee. She ranted. She wasn't on camera, but she was quite upset about it. Anyway, I had to give away my telescope. So I bought another one, and it's here now, so I'll go and play with that soon. It's a nice clear sky today. Oh, there's a few clouds. So I have these ideas like sitting on the balcony with a drink and, I don't know, something, watching the harbour. But in reality, I don't think it'll happen. But I don't know. I remember having ideas about what we're going to do in this place, and never actually worked out. We thought that room was going to be a big home theatre room. We had lots of speakers and everything put in, and we just sit on the lounge and watch TV. So we don't really watch movies much.
No, we used to.
Yeah.
Things have changed.
Anyway, so I don't know. I don't know what I'm looking forward to. We had investment properties which we've now sold. So these properties used to make money. We've had to sell them to pay for this new place. So we'll have less money coming in, but I'm hoping life will be easier and hopefully
You're looking
cheaper.
forward to be able to walk over the shops and buy donuts and ice creams.
Yeah, that'll be nice. Yeah, walking distance to the shops will be good. We'll be able to, walk over there. I'm hoping to, 1 week, one meal per weekend or something. Might be able to go over to a restaurant. It's all 300 metres away, so it's quite nice. I've got visions of flying the drone off the balcony, so I can just fly around and look at stuff in Shell Cove. I'm going to set up some cameras. At the moment, if you go to ancoracam.com, That's our camera that looks at the building site, and that's been taking a photo every minute for the last 2.5 years. And we build on that site. There's time lapses and things. You can put a link down below, like the people on YouTube. Anyway, so that's the link. You can see the current picture of what they're doing, and yeah, time lapses for every month. So it's interesting. So I'll probably continue that. I'll have some cameras running over just Shell Cove. It's apparently interesting when storms roll in because we're facing south, so we'll get to see the big storm clouds coming in. So hopefully the cameras will get some of that.
And I think like you're looking forward to having more of like a holiday lifestyle, I think too.
Yeah, but I can't stop working yet.
Stress, no.
But yeah, I'm going to talk to work about
That's
more holidays. But yeah, I have visions of not working down there, but
and you're going to have your study, so you're going to be
I'll
able
have a
to
study with a computer and I can work there. We'll see how that goes.
And you want to put a TV in the back room so you can do some more games and stuff.
Yeah, I like
He's
games.
just not sure how much of these things are fantasy him.
Yeah, like I've got an Xbox Series X or Series whatever it is, X, and I've got PlayStation 5, and I've got
there's somewhere set up that
I've got
you
a
can
Nintendo
do that.
Switch, but I never actually have time to sit down and play them. So I kind of want to get time one day to play these things.
Because here you'd have to, when you could go in here, I guess we used to have a TV in here, but I don't know. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Someone asked about games, so we'll talk about games when we get there.
Okay. Amber asks, what do you know about Cobalt Mining, and does it concern you in its use for electric cars?
It does. Cobalt's recyclable, so that's nice. But yeah, there's lots of things they use in car batteries that are bad. It's as bad as they are, they're still better than oil. So it is bad. You're getting poor countries that don't have any money, that have people digging out stuff with their hands to try and make money, and it's awful. But it's a step in the right direction. So it's not the perfect answer, but it's better than oil, better than coal. So it's
For the environment.
For the environment and for everyone. The estimated thing I read this morning said 5 million people a year die from coal and gas power stations just with breathing problems. But they never attribute them. They're never dying out the gates of the place. So no one ever works out how bad they are.
So they're bad to people's health too.
Yeah, so oil and coal are terrible. Natural gas is terrible. Nuclear is one of the best, but when you have a nuclear accident, everyone knows about it, and you can attribute those deaths to the nuclear place. So nuclear kills far fewer people than other things. I don't think we'll go nuclear in Australia. We have so much capacity for solar. Snowy 2.0 is supposed to be pumping up water up to a reservoir so they can use it to save power. So during the day, we'll just use all the spare power from solar, pump it up, and then use hydroelectric when it comes back. Cobalt's bad. There's reasonable amounts of nickel around. Lithium's hard to get, but it's also recyclable. But yeah, there's lots of things that are just bad. But without the consumers buying these products, there's no demand for new products. So now there's demand for electric cars. There's better battery technology will come along. And every week or so, I read a story about someone's invented an electric battery that charges up in a third the time and can store twice as much. And that's tiny instances in a lab, and they don't ever result in better batteries in actual cars. But my Tesla's a 2019 Tesla, and I've got lithium ion. And the newer one, my brother's bought a Model Y. So my one, to be nice to the battery, you don't charge it over 80% and you never let it get flatter than 20% unless you really need to. You're going on a trip and then you just charge it to what you need. But it's better for battery health to stay in the middle 60%. My brother's got a Model Y and the batteries are better already for his. It's a 3-year later car and you just charge it to 100% every time. So technology is getting better all the time. It's a totally different formula for his car than it is for mine. And hopefully it'll get better. Honda and Toyota are talking about fuel cell cars. I don't know how they're going to work. They don't make sense to me because to get a fuel cell to work, everyone knows how fuel cells work. You get hydrogen and oxygen. There's plenty of oxygen in the air, and you get hydrogen, and you put them together to generate electricity in a fuel cell, which is what the space shuttle and things used to do. And one of the byproduct of that is water and electricity. So the problem is then, how do you fill your car up with hydrogen? Hydrogen isn't easily shippable. It's not easily, you can compress it, but it doesn't liquefy very well without a lot of problems. So you'd have to have service stations running off solar to generate their own hydrogen out of water on site to be able to pump that into cars to make it work. So it would require a different infrastructure than what they have now. So that was only about Cobalt, but we talked about lots of things.
I was listening to the last part.
No.
I'm pretty good at switching off when Kevin talks about stuff that I don't understand. Okay, Melanie says, where is the best place to buy Apple Watch straps?
Yeah, it depends on what you want. The Apple Watch straps, I've bought tons of them from AliExpress, which are the same things that are available on Amazon and so on. And 90% of them are rubbish. They fall apart, they break, they just discolour, they lose their elasticity. So as bad as it sounds, I buy all the watch bands that I actually use from Apple, and they're expensive. And this one, I've got a link bracelet on there at the moment, and I've had the last one I had for probably 5 or 6 years, and it finally broke. One of the middle clips broke, so I just bought another one, and they're very expensive. I think they're about $400, $500. But all the copies that you get from AliExpress, and I bought a few to try them, they're all just bad.
Yeah, I was using one and the strap fell off and my watch fell off and broke.
Yeah, and you broke. Even though it was I only ever get stainless steel Apple Watches or titanium because they've got the sapphire glass. The aluminium one just has the ionised glass.
You have one of these for travel, don't you?
Yeah.
You got the same one?
I wear this one when I'm working, and whenever I travel, I put on a different band just because I can, and it just puts me in holiday mode. So I quite like that.
Okay. I'm also fascinated by the chip in your arm.
Okay.
How did that come to be?
I've got a few chips. The one I put in there. So if you look at the anatomy of a hand, there's blood vessels and things running down the outside of your hand you have to worry about. In there is pretty good. So one day I ordered the chip online. The company's called dangerousthings.com, so it sounds really good. It comes with a needle, and I looked at some local tattoo companies that might be able to install them and everything else, and I got annoyed and thought it was too hard. So one Saturday morning, I thought I'd just go in the office, do it myself, and see what happens. So I went in the office, I sterilised my hand as best I could, I scrubbed everything. The Dangerous Things kit comes with a surgical drapes, so you set up your own sterile field. You wear gloves on the other hand. It comes with a sterile needle, which are all ethane sterilised, I think. Anyway, so they're not radiation sterilised. You're not even listening anymore, are you?
Kind of.
So they're all sterilised needles, and you just kind of pinch the skin here and shove the needle in, and you've got to put it in about an inch, and then you push the plunger, and it'll eject. As you pull the needle back, you push the plunger to put the chip where you want it. Now, interesting thing about that was around the back of the syringe was a little safety that you can't push the plunger. So I had this thing stuck in my hand, and then obviously I only had one hand left to try and take the safety clip off because I forgot to take it off originally. So that was a bit annoying, and that caused this chip. You can't feel it. It's too deep. I put it in. It should go in just below the skin. Like under the skin, you got a bit of a fat layer, and you can move, you can pinch it. But I actually put it into the fascia of the muscle, so I shouldn't have done that. But anyway, that's fine. So after that, I wanted one in this hand, so I put one in there. And these are, they're 125 kilohertz low frequency chips, and I think they're 13.56 megahertz high frequency chips. So both of these chips are the same. They're an NTAG 216 on the high frequency side. Oh, our kitchen lights went out. See, that's the problem with movement sensors. Anyway, doesn't work. Anyway, doesn't matter. We're lit up. We're lit up well enough. So these two are the same. They get in my office doors. Then I put one in here, and this one is a NTAG 216, but I liked it because it glows. So under your skin. So that's got my business card on it. So if you hold a mobile phone next to that, it glows and flashes green.
It's like his party trick.
Yeah. And it basically sends a URL of my business card through to someone's phone, and they get my business card. And on this one, this one's the last one I put in, and there's videos on my channel of me putting them in if you want to see them.
I'll link it below.
And this one I put in because that's a My Fair Classic 1K So it's 13.56 megahertz, and it's what most access control systems use. So I'm thinking that one should be good for our new apartment. It's currently programmed up for one of the apartments in Canberra, so I can get on there and use the lifts, which I did on our Canberra trip. I had to jiggle it around a bit because it's through skin. It's not as easy to pick up. But yeah, that gets me in lifts. So hopefully the new building, that chip will work.
Well, so the next question from Vim was, what does the chip in your hand do? But you just answered that.
Okay, yeah. So they do, the main ones here, I use the low frequency side because I've only got 125 kilohertz weakened, 26-bit weakened stuff in my office. So these are just programmed up. So when I get there in the morning,
do you use them every day when you go to work?
Yeah, I use them multiple times a day because you swipe this one at the front door, and that's because that sensor's on the right. And I've got my coffee and my lunch bag and anything else I'm carrying to work. So you just put your hand there and it beeps. Pull the door open, get upstairs. Then I open Joel's office, open the main door to my office area, then open my office. So I've got lots of doors to get through, and it knows. And it actually logs and updates the chat channel when the building's unlocked and so on. So every time someone swipes anything, it's all tracked in my office. And should be in the new house too.
Okay. Roxy Jinx says, what does Kevin think of the new, or what do you think of the new Apple Watches where you can just move your fingers to work it?
Well, interestingly enough, this one's one of them, so I can just tap my fingers. Oh, well, there you go.
They can't. Oh, yeah, you can just see a watch. I can just see a watch.
So I can tap my fingers and it scrolls. The old Apple Watches could do this because it was in the accessibility sections. So you could, if you were one-armed or something, you could go into there and you could actually tell it to do it.
Well, that'd be good in that circumstance, wouldn't it?
I think what happened was when Apple wanted to release the new Titanium 2, they turned off certain features that the watch probably has or pulled them out at the last minute. And I think they were probably desperate to have something on the list of new features. So they just promoted that feature to a more mainstream feature rather than accessibility. So I don't think it's that exciting. I've used it once, but your watch does it too.
You tried to show me and I just thought, I don't understand why.
Yeah.
Why you'd want it.
So they both do it.
But I've got to remember to do it.
That's the Series 9 and that's the Ultra 2, whatever they are. But they're kind of fun, but I don't think it's a very exciting feature. There's no real features to go from the Ultra 1 to the Ultra 2, but I did it because I'm weird.
Oh, we know that. Okay, Pens and Pals says, are you an advocate of everything AI and programs like ChatGPT, or do you have concerns as to where the future of these two introductions are headed? AI's,
or more accurately, machine learning, because ChatGPT is a large language model, so it's just like your phone guessing the next text word, where it guesses it, but it's very, very good at doing that. So it's a language model. It's hard to say if it really understands anything, but it's pretty impressive. I use it to generate code, and I asked it the other day. I said, write me a bash script to join a zero-tier network and approve it on the CLI. Now, I knew you can't approve a zero-tier network join on the CLI. It's not a thing that works. It's just not possible. And it just made up commands that sound as if that's what it would be if you could do it. But it wasn't a real command. It can't be done. So it was interesting to see it. I've also had it generate other code for me. I had it generate code to read a short URL, or actually write a short URL to a DynamoDB table in Amazon and store it as a URL shortener. And right at the end of the code, it took me a while to find it, it reversed the string of the short URL, and the comment was reversing for readability. So it's obviously read that somewhere, but it was crazy in the situation I wanted it. So it probably took me just as long when it was writing the code. But I get it to write code for me. I get it to write letters for me. I get it to write emails for me. It's quite nice. I don't think ChatGPT is that scary. I think QStar, which is their new product, is going to be very scary, and I think it's going to start replacing things. So if you want to talk about artificial intelligence and things like that, you need to work out if you believe a machine can understand things. Can I talk about Searle's Chinese room? Yeah, okay, I'll talk about Searle's Chinese room. So Searle is a current philosopher. I don't know what university he works at, but when you talk about minds and machines, which go back to Turing machines. So Alan Turing foresaw a machine that, I think it was his example, or one of his contemporaries' example, that had a big wall with holes in the bottom of the wall where you could stick your foot through. And if you could stick your foot through, either one side had a little light beam with a weight and would step on your toe, the other hole would have a human that steps on your toe when it sees your shoe come through the wall. And he basically said that for the purposes of having your foot stepped on, if you can't tell the difference after a reasonable amount of time, which is the human and which is the machine, then that machine is as good as a human at stepping on your toe. So that's what's called the Turing test. So the Turing test basically says if you're interacting with a computer and a person for the same amount, for some reasonable amount of time, if you can't tell which one's which, then that passes the Turing test. Now, ChatGPT passes the Turing test, I believe, because you can chat to it, and it's awesome, and it remembers things, it talks about chat. It'd be difficult to know that it wasn't a person. Q star, on the other hand, will actually start to know things. So when you talk about whether computers can know things, you can talk about Searle's Chinese room, and this was, imagine 2 rooms, separate little buildings. And in one was a Chinese man with a pencil and lots of paper cards, and you could write stuff on a card and say, how are you feeling today, and put it into the room, and he would be able to answer you and say, I'm feeling great today, and send a card back. The other room contained lots and lots and lots of books about instructions and what little slants on the characters meant. So you could sit in this room and not understand Chinese, but you could go through the patterns of following all the books and following the flowcharts and instructions and checklists, and read the instructions coming in, fill out a form, which would be exactly the same answer as the human gave, and hand it back. It would obviously take you longer, but if you handed that back, the question that Searle asks is, the man inside the second room doesn't understand Chinese, and that's clear. The man inside the first room does understand Chinese. But the rooms as a whole, so the second man with books and his ability to read them and process them, does the room itself understand Chinese? So that's what we're getting to with ChatGPT and Q star, because I think you can argue that Q star when details are released, but what has been released is quite frightening. And I think it will not destroy the middle class, but it'll cause the middle class to drop in wages substantially. And I think a lot of jobs will be either be gone or drastically changed, because you won't need to get a secretary to write a letter. You'll have a personal assistant that can just do everything, deal with your calendars, make phone calls, do everything that these things need. So it's going to be very interesting, but I'll be retired and I'll have to leave it up for the young kids. It's going to be scary.
Well, on that fun, happy note, KMC 1985, it says, Kevin, mate, does it get tiring being a bloody legend?
I don't think I'm a legend. In my own brain.
Serious question. What video games do you enjoy playing when you have spare time?
I don't often get time to play them. Funnily enough, I shouldn't put this on the internet. If I'm doing something at work that takes a lot of time between runs one of the things I do is video processing of skydiving. So I don't know if anyone cares, but skydivers come down from the sky, they land, they pull the little card out of there. They pull the little card out, put it into one of our machines. It processes the video, edits it, trims it, makes a video, sticks it online with the right music and the right editing and all that stuff, and makes the video available. And we do that in about 6 minutes. We've done over 10,000 videos in the last 30 days. So I've done hundreds and hundreds of thousands of videos that have been fully automated. So that's what I do. But when I'm writing the code to do that, you'll often have a 3 or 4 minute go between when you're editing a script and watching the video. If I start to do another task, you get too distracted from what you're doing, and when you come back to it, you can't concentrate on it for that long. So I'll sometimes have a game on. So the game that my go-to game is called Factorio, and that's my probably favourite game ever on a PC, and it's very nerdy. It's very process-based. You can write code with it. You can do all sorts of things. So Factorio is an awesome game. And then on console, my favourite game ever is Red Dead Redemption 2, because it's horses. And it's the interactions, the graphics, the everything, the story. As you just follow the story, it's the first game I've ever played that's like a movie and has awesome music and themes through it. It's just such a good story game. It's not just a game. It's awesome.
Yeah, you played that a lot. What about Kerbals?
Kerbals, I
You
like
into that for a while.
I like Kerbals. It's Kerbal Space Program we're talking about. Kerbal Space Program is the first. I'll start again.
Super nerdy game.
Yeah, it's pretty nerdy. There's a cartoon called XKCD, and I can't remember the guy that writes it, Ronan something. Anyway, XKCD, and he had this guy that writes the cartoon did physics at high school, physics at university, and then he went to do astronautical engineering at uni. Got an actual job in NASA, and he did a graph on the screen about how much about orbital mechanics do you understand? And he wrote a little bit from school, a little bit more from actually working at NASA, and then he said actually playing Kerbal Space Program, his graph went off the chart. So if you want to understand orbital mechanics, things that never made sense to me, like if you're in orbit with something and you hit your thrusters to go towards them, you're actually going to end up going away from them. And if you try and go up, you'll actually come down below them on the next orbit. So it's a lot of very strange things, which the Americans worked out mostly with Gemini. But anyway, we're getting off topic.
Yeah, I loved it when Kevin used to play this game.
And Buzz Aldrin was the guy that knew a lot about this stuff and orbital rendezvous and stuff, and he wrote his PhD on this. So anyway, Kerbal Space Program, you have to build rockets, you have to understand power-to-weight ratios, you have to understand all your staging, you have to get all this stuff right. And it was the only game that I've ever, actually no, Factorio 2, where you have the game on one screen and you have spreadsheets on the other screen trying to work out the maths of how to build the rockets and do things. So I really enjoy Kerbal Space Program, but I'm not very good at it. So I tend to watch other people play that on YouTube, and they're much better at it than me. So there you go.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know who asked this question. I don't seem to have that on my printout. But it says, do you still enjoy Disney World? They've not been since 2016 and wouldn't know what it's like now. So much has changed since then in the world and in Disney World.
Yeah, we haven't been since this time last year.
Yeah.
Which is sad. We're DVC members.
So do you still enjoy Disney World?
Yes.
No,
not the rides. The rides are not that exciting. Every time I go back, even if I haven't been for years.
Some of the rides.
But you go and look at Space Mountain. Did we do it last time? And we just get a headache. So when you're young and your parents don't go on the roller coasters, you sit there and think they're missing out. But as you get older, you realise you're not actually missing out. You just don't want to get a headache. So some of the rides are nice and smooth. I like them, but it's not about the rides. The things I remember, it's only a year ago, but the things I remember most about that trip were sitting in a little cafe at the end of Main Street waiting for the parade, and we went and got hot chocolates and just sat there and talked for an hour, and that was better than any of the rides. That was just really nice. So we don't typically go to restaurants there because they're very expensive, but I think I want to start doing some more of that because I think that's the bit that I remember and enjoy. The rides and things, they're kind of fun, but it's not all about that. It's just going there and not being at work. I think it's probably the best part.
Okay, another one I have not got who asked this. It says, do you have any travel destinations or adventure type experiences on your bucket list that you have yet to explore?
I want to see the Taj Mahal, but you don't. I don't know if I'll ever get there because having to go to India has enough other problems. So maybe if we do a cruise through there, I don't know. We probably do a day trip there. I'd like to see that. Great Wall of China. There's lots of things. Vietnam. I'd like to go to.
Yeah, Vietnam has sort of got onto our list more recently, hasn't it?
Want to go to Japan. I'm really against the way Japan treats animals and stuff, and some of their politics I don't like. But then you look at Australian politics, and I don't like most of that. So I don't think it's the people's fault. There's just small groups of people that do silly things. I don't know what I want to do. We're going to Alaska again. That'll be nice. We're going to New Zealand next week. That'll be nice. So I don't know. I'll probably have to travel more for work next year.
You haven't really got much on your bucket list then.
No, when Apple releases their headsets, I'm going to, as soon as I can get one ordered, I'm going to fly to the US and get one of them because you have to buy them in person. So I'll go straight there.
You want to do a train trip across Canada?
Yeah, I want to do a train trip
It's
across
on your
Canada
bucket list.
because you want to go to Ban.
Oh my god.
That's how you pronounce it.
Loaded with.
And yeah, a train trip across Canada. I'd like to try another train trip in Australia. We only did Sydney to Adelaide, and then we saw a vlog, and they said, "Wow, that was the roughest."
They were an experienced train traveller. Yeah. They said that was the worst track they've ever been on in their life.
Yeah, and that was
what we did.
I still want to sleep a lot, and that's not good. So once I can get over this whole sleeping thing, doing some more of those things. I can probably see us on bus tours and stuff eventually.
I don't know. Not with fibre, I don't know.
So we'll have to see. Anyway, we'll see.
You've got to keep up with everyone. Do you have a travel destination or experience that you'd recommend that everyone should experience during their lifetime?
I don't know. Travel destination or experience. Or experience, I can say skydiving, but that's not that. I've done skydiving quite a few times for work. And that's fun. Gets less fun after 3 or 4 times, but it's still fun. That's probably worth doing. The Queenstown Canyon swing, I think, is pretty awesome. That's a good experience, and that should be done. You eventually get to a point, I'm not even scared of these things anymore. Like when you're on the canyon swing, they just drop you into a thing. I don't even, my heart rate probably goes up, but I don't get scared. I don't get scared in any roller coasters or anything. It's just a thing to get through. So I don't know.
New Zealand, I would say. I know
Zealand's
this is not my
nice.
question, but if you want a good travel destination, New Zealand is stunning.
The best thing I've done in my life is I met a girlie with ginger fluff. That's probably the best thing. But there's only one of them. You can't do that.
What about scuba diving?
Scuba diving is good. Because I'm a bit weird, everything I do I tend to do more than I should. So I went to learn scuba diving in 96, 97 probably. And then I liked it, so I became a scuba instructor because that was fun. And then I haven't dived now for the last few years. I started to do my course, but I get a bit panicky about things, so I didn't finish it. But I think if it's something you can do, I reckon that would be something that everyone should try and do, because underwater life is just incredible. Yeah, it's very nice. It's so much better than snorkeling because you can actually go down there, and I've done lots of things underwater.
I love snorkeling. Kevin goes, he's dived so many places, he doesn't get excited about snorkeling, but because I can't dive, then I get excited about snorkeling. Diving's
pretty cool. You see awesome stuff, and you just, especially when you're decompressing on line. So if you dive in Vanuatu on the Coolidge, for example, it's very, very deep wreck, and you end up doing up to like 45 minutes decompression. And there's at about 4-5 meters, there's a coral garden, and the coral garden is so awesome. You can just sit there and because you're there for a long time, you just sit there and breathe gently and watch the fish swimming around and all the Nemo fish and everything else. You put your head right in the middle of the whole anemone things. And that's when you realise they actually have stingers in them, because I've had stingers all around my lips because you put your head in them. There's little crustaceans that swim around, and they've got spikes or like big claws, and they all smash bone. So I was actually following one of those around, just watching it, and then I got dragged backwards by someone that grabbed my fin, and that was Leon explaining to me that you don't get close to those things. They break bones. So that was good. We've had I've had bad dives where things have gone wrong, but we do enough training for it. And one thing that I think diving teaches you is how to cope when things don't go right. So they always say stop, breathe, think, and then act, and that's good for lots and lots of things in life, I think. So probably too long an answer.
I'm going to answer for travel destination. I reckon Alaska.
Yeah, Alaska's good.
I'll probably say Africa. We haven't been there yet.
No.
Alaska.
Australia's good.
Australia is a good place too, yeah.
We're watching videos now of people on the West Coast, and I've never been there. So.
And I've been telling Kevin for ages, we've got to go back to
I've only been to Perth for work.
Like Broome, Exmouth, up that area.
I went to Kalgoorlie for work. And after the Kalgoorlie trip, should I tell my Kalgoorlie story?
Yes, may as well tell your story. I'm going to try and get these last few questions.
It was funny. We flew into Kalgoorlie early in the morning. There's only one flight in the morning, one flight at night. We installed the equipment we had to install probably about like 9 o'clock. tested it, did everything we could do there, so that worked. So then we had to wait until like 7 or 8 at night for the next flight. So the people that were like escorting us there, to like people from the local branch that had to show us around, we just went to a skimpy bar, and that's where all the girls, the bartender girls, have to take their tops off. And we got there like 9:30 in the morning or something, and they kind of looked over at us and said, "Oh, look, fine," and started taking their tops off. We go, "Look, it's okay. We're just work people. We're just going to sit in the corner and wait for the plane." And they go, "No, rules are rules," and that was a weird day. Anyway,
that's since you're at work.
Yeah.
Okay, another question here from Em. She said, when did you start feeling unwell? She's sorry that you are having health problems.
I don't know if anyone remembers back to Tara days in the vlog. I don't know how many years ago that was.
Gosh, yeah, I don't know.
But I didn't know at the time, but I used to sit on the couch and my feet used to get hot. And we had a water squirter that we could squirt when the dogs woofed, so we could squirt the dogs. That was back in golden days before doodles. Oh. So when they barked, we used to squirt them. And I used to squirt my feet to try and cool my feet down. And that was, I don't know why my feet were getting hot, but that turns out to be the start of this small fibre neuropathy that I've got, which is similar because fibro is a type of small fibre neuropathy. So but mine's not fibro. I don't know. They poke you in different spots, but I didn't scream when they poked me in those spots. So it's not fibro. And I've actually got an appointment in February with they call them genetic counsellors. I've already had a test for all ports because my symptoms, because I've got hearing loss, I wear hearing aids. They thought it might have been all ports, but then they said, but if it was that, you'd probably be dead. So it's probably not that.
Oh, I'm glad it wasn't that.
So I got tested for that, and it wasn't that. So they don't really know what it is. So they're trying to find out. But I don't like all the drugs I'm on and things.
No,
but yeah, thinking back, it was a long time ago, and it went from my feet to, I think it went to my legs next, and then my hands and arms, and then, funnily enough, my feet are mostly better. Occasionally they get hot, but my feet are better now. I don't know why. But it's also gone to my back, my skin. So I have the pain across. But it's a pain not in your back like normal back pain. It's a pain on my skin. So it feels very strange. And then because of all the lights just came on.
because the dog moved.
Coda just walked through the kitchen. And this is a very long video. And it's weird when you're in the shower and you like wash your hair and you can't feel things on my head. My head goes numb quite a lot. My thighs go numb quite a lot from all the drugs because they want you to stop hurting, but they stop you doing anything. So anyway, that's my drug story. So that was a while. I didn't think it was going to be the same as everyone else. I feel like I'm a follower. But anyway. And then they did nerve tests, and I don't know if you ever had a nerve test, but they put sensors on your thighs, and then they measure distances up your thighs, and they put little pencil marks or little texture marks, and then they zap your feet with like a little cattle prod, and they measure the time it takes for the sensors to get up the rest of your nerves. And when I had that, the lady's going, "Oh yeah, these are fine. I'll show my students this," and she was all happy with that. And then when I actually got the report from the doctors, they go, "No, it's not fine." I don't know what she was saying. But I think she was saying this is a good example of something that's wrong, and she was going to show students, but the specialist never tells you. But anyway, the GP said, no, all these signals are wrong. So I got sent to neurologists because trying to work out why I couldn't feel things, and he just said, use less drugs. But I'm actually using twice the dose now, and I'm putting up with it because it's better than having your hands and feet on fire. So there you go.
Hopefully one of these days, but it does take a long time to get diagnosis for any chronic illnesses, unfortunately. Okay, Maggie got a last minute question in, which is because we're behind. So she says, "Just hope she's not too late to questions from Mr. Kevin. I too missed your community post. I don't believe I've ever seen an Alexa type device in your home. So my question for Mr. Kevin, is he leery of devices like Echo and Alexa that sort of monitor a person's activities?"
Yes, I don't like them. We have the Apple one in this house. I won't say the word because I don't know if anyone's watching this. The devices go funny. But we have the Apple one, and that is superbly stupid. So many times it doesn't know what you're saying. It's good for setting a timer. That's about all it's good for. I have asked it the weather while it's been pouring rain, and it says, no, it's not going to rain. I've had one time I've asked it the weather when it's been pouring rain and said, what's the weather? And it said, it's not raining and not going to rain, but will stop about 8 o'clock.
I remember that.
That was
funny.
crazy. We got that on video somewhere. So it just says really stupid things. It's not useful. The Google one and the Amazon one are both much better at understanding your voice and dealing with things. They can tell you bedtime stories. They can do really cool stuff. But I don't trust their privacy. So not that I have anything that's that private, but I don't like them.
The ethics of it. More than
They're bad. So not that I do like Amazon. I give Amazon $100,000 a month from work, so we use Amazon quite a lot. I give Google $30,000 a month from work, but I don't use their voice things. I have them on my desk at work, but they're all muted. And I just, if I need to play with them for a client or something, then we'll do that, but I don't use them around the house. I've actually got an Echo speaker next to the bed upstairs, and that was only to play the audio when you go to sleep, but I haven't used it, so I'll probably unplug it.
Okay. And you also asked, what advice would you give to someone who's considering buying a refurbished computer or a computer manufactured in another country?
I don't know. I'm not good with computers. My first job when I got out of university was building PCs. So I worked in that for a long time. It's all different. It's much easier to build a PC now. I don't know. For a go-to computer for me, I just buy a MacBook because they're easy. Or I've got a couple of Mac Minis doing some jobs, but they're expensive. They're not very big. The storage is hard. Everything's difficult, but I find them just easier. As far as Windows machines go, I hate ads. So when Windows starts advertising things to me in the middle of a workday, that's if I can't turn that off, which I worked out how to turn off the current ones. There's rumours they're going to get worse. Then I'll just throw that computer out and switch everything over to Macs. So my main work computer is a Windows machine at the moment. On my desk, I have 2 screens run by a Mac Mini and 2 screens run by a Windows machine. So there's 4 screens on my desk. I then have a Pi on my desk with another little screen, a Pi to my left. I've got a 15-inch screen to my top left. That's for when I'm testing Pis. I've got a security monitor to my right, and then a photo screen on my far right. So my office, I should take a photo of it.
I was going to suggest that, but then I remembered what the state of your office is.
Yeah, my office is a stratified filing system. And when someone wants a piece of paper or a bit of technology, you've got to remember how long ago it was and dig down to that layer to find it. It's not good. It needs to be changed, but I'm lazy.
Yeah, I'm sure it doesn't help your mental state at work.
No. So, yeah, as far as tech brands...
Yeah, favourite tech brand.
I like Apple. Never used to. Used to hate their machines.
That's funny,
it was only
isn't it?
when really iPhones came out. And when their Macs, like I used Macs from late 80s as well at university. Most of our stuff was on Macs. And they were fine, but only when they went to a Unix subsystem did it really work properly. So you can just use the terminal, use proper Unix commands. I'm a Unix person, so I like being able to do that. I install Brew and Docker and all that stuff on them, and they do everything I want. So they're nice.
Okay.
Right, that's the end of our questions.
That's all the questions for this
58 minutes.
If you guys have liked this, let us know, and we can maybe do another one in the future.
Or at least you'll know what you did wrong, and this could be an example to others.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed hanging out and listening to Kevin talk for an hour.
Great. This is my job. This is my life. You try living in my brain.
Alrighty. Bye, everyone.
Bye.